Mr. President, I congratulate you on assuming the seat of the Council's President in 2024 and wish you all the success in carrying out your important responsibilities. Excellencies, distinguished colleagues, on February 24th, we marked 2 years since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. This act was the culmination of Russia's decade-long aggression against our country, which began in February 2014 when Russia occupied Ukrainian Crimea. Ukraine marked the day of resistance to the occupation of Crimea yesterday, February 26. This date also serves as a reminder to the world that Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity are essential components of global stability and justice. Russian control over Crimea poses a threat to the entire Black Sea region and far beyond. We must also address severe human rights violations and abuses in Crimea and other temporarily occupied Ukrainian territories. These include forced conscription of Ukrainian citizens and attempts to change the ethnic composition by actively deporting Ukrainians and forcibly resettling them in Russia, as well as large-scale resettlements of people from Russia's remote regions into Ukraine. Since the start of the temporary occupation of Crimea, Ukrainians and Crimean Tatars have been unacceptably persecuted, pressured, and their human rights have been severely violated. The most recent International Court of Justice ruling shows that all those who oppose Russia's occupation continue to be targets. Ladies and gentlemen, Russia's shelling and airstrikes cause widespread human suffering and forced displacement of millions of innocent Ukrainians. 18% of Ukrainian territory is currently under Russian occupation. The security and human rights situation there is rapidly deteriorating. Numerous international human rights monitoring and investigative bodies have found ample evidence of widespread willful killings, arbitrary detentions, and enforced disappearances, as well as torture and ill treatment by Russian occupiers. Ukrainian prisoners of war and civilians in Russian detention are being tortured and mistreated. Ukrainian children who have been forcibly transferred or deported to the Russian Federation are indoctrinated or adopted into Russian families. The abuse and kidnapping of children is probably the most horrific Russian crime in the course of this war. Everyone involved in this genocidal policy must be held accountable. Mr. President, 2 years ago in Geneva, the Council responded to Russia's aggression with decisiveness and unity of purpose. The establishment of the Independent International Commission of Inquiry was a critical step towards ensuring that all facts of gross human rights violations, war crimes, and crimes against humanity committed by Russia in Ukraine are properly documented and used as evidence in existing and future international courts. I urge the Council to extend the Commission's mandate for another year by passing a relevant resolution during its current session. We will make every effort to hold Russia accountable for all of its crimes against Ukraine and its people by ensuring proper, fair, and independent investigation and prosecution at the national and international levels, as well as full reparation for any damage, loss, or injury inflicted on our people. The establishment of the Register of Damage for Ukraine is the first step toward an international compensation mechanism for victims of Russian aggression. We will continue to work on establishing a special tribunal for the crime of aggression against Ukraine to hold the Russian Federation's political and military leaders accountable. Excellencies, on the 10th anniversary of Russian aggression and the 2nd anniversary of Russia's full-scale military invasion of Ukraine, it is more than symbolic to express our common, united support for the peace formula and the inaugural Global Peace Summit to discuss its further implementation at the highest level. The peace formula of Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky remains the only realistic plan for achieving comprehensive, just, and long-term peace in Ukraine, as well as ensuring global security and justice. We urge UN members to join international efforts to put these principles into action, with the goal of creating a world in which the use of force is unthinkable and human rights and dignity are paramount. I thank you.